Hey, and welcome to a new episode of Worlds Collide, the podcast about moving abroad. I am your host, Viktoria. And hi, I'm so glad that you're tuning in today. So, today's episode, it's another one about France. It just got really popular somehow. Anyway, my guest today is Mark Greenside, and he is an author of several books. And he wrote about life in France, like buying a house, getting internet, and all the different things about his 30 years in France. And we will talk all about it. It was a super nice conversation with Mark. But before I let you listen to it, I just wanted to let you know that there are ways how you can support the podcast. So the first is, of course, subscribe. So wherever you want to listen to, or wherever you listen to the podcast, you can subscribe. FYI, there's also a YouTube channel. But there are some videos, but mostly it's just audio. But like to a few episodes, there are videos. So you can see my face if you want to. Anyway. And then the other way how you can support the podcast is you can leave a 5-star rating wherever you listen to the podcast, because that always increases the listenership. More people will be curious about it. And then, more people will listen to all these nice stories from the people I had on the podcast. All right. And then, of course, there is a third way. That's the last way. But that's only if you feel like super generous. So if you feel generous, you can also chip in for a coffee and buy me a coffee. It's buymeacoffee.com/worldscollidepod. And there you can just chip in like $2 or $3, whatever you feel like. Yeah. And that's it. And now I let you listen to my conversation with Mark. Here it is. My guest today is Mark Greenside. Hey, how are you today?
I'm terrific. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. I'm excited. What do you have to tell us? So you're calling from California, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But you lived abroad in France for a long time, and this is what we talk about today. So tell me a little bit how, or like why you ended up in France, and when was it?
Okay. So the first time I went to France was in the 1960s. And
Uh-huh.
it wasn't a very happy experience. Um,
Okay.
De Gaulle was president. The Vietnam War was going on.
Oh, yeah.
Americans were not particularly liked.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I only went to Paris, and I was there, and I spoke no French. I was there
Mm-hmm.
for, I don't know, maybe a week or 2 weeks, and it wasn't a pleasant experience. And that in the '60s, and in the '90s, I had a girlfriend. It always begins with me with a girl. It's the first line,
Okay.
actually the first
Yeah.
line of my first book. It begins with a girl. Um, she had been to Brittany before. She was fluent in French. She was a Francophile, and she wanted to go back, and she wanted to show me Brittany because she had been
Mhm.
there and she loved it and it was beautiful. And at the time, we were getting along, so she wanted to show me things.
Yeah.
She said, let's go to France, let's go to Brittany, and I didn't want to go, and I made up all kinds of excuses, and
Okay.
and
Because
basically
the
said,
first experience was bad.
that's right. And I
Yeah.
still didn't speak French, and I didn't think, I didn't know about France, but I knew I hadn't changed that much, so I didn't,
Uh-huh. Okay. Sure.
I
France
didn't
should
go.
not change either.
Right. So, I said, if you do everything, find the place, make all the, if you do it all, I'll go. Figuring she'll never do it. I mean, no
Right,
chance
right.
she'll do it. But of course she did, and we went, and we wound up in this tiny village of 500 people in Brittany, And we didn't last very long, but I fell in love with the village and the people in the area.
Okay.
And Brittany, the light, the colors, the people, the skies, the waters, everything. It was just magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
So we made it about 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
And then luckily the house that we rented had 3 floors, so we could stay together but separate.
Separate. Yeah.
So we made it through the summer. But then,
Okay.
but then at the end of one of the people I met was the lady I refer to through all the books as Madame P, and she was the keeper of the keys to the house we rented. And she somehow took it upon herself to show us, and then after Catherine and I sort of split, show me all around Brittany. And she'd take
Mm-hmm.
me to different places, and and she speaks no English. I spoke no French. We did a lot of pointing, and
Uh-huh.
I was a lot of uh, très bien, c'est joli, c'est parfait. That's about it. And
Uh-huh.
she'd show me these different places, and when we would do this periodically, we'd go to little villages and gorgeous little villages, medieval villages, thatched roof houses, all granite and stone, and it's magnificent. And everywhere we went, they'd say, "Ah oui, c'est joli, c'est joli, c'est joli," and um, one time she took me out to a village, and same thing, and as we're coming home, instead of going back to the houses, she stops in front of a notaire's office, and she basically says, "You like it so much here, buy something." And I'm looking at these ads for houses on the notaire's office.
Uh-huh.
I can't read them, but I can see the prices.
Uh-huh.
And this is 1991. Um,
Okay.
so the prices of a small house in rural France in 1991 was about the price of a high-end Mercedes. So
Okay.
you could, if you had money, you could buy it. I, of course, had no money. I was a school teacher.
Uh-huh.
I had no money. The only thing I owned was an 18-year-old car and the clothes on my back. Um,
Uh-huh.
but she didn't know that, and I mean, to her, I was a rich American. I'm here for the summer.
Right, exactly. Sure.
So,
Very cliche.
exactly, it was all very cliche. And so she basically, says, "Look at these houses." So I'm looking at the houses, and um, I sort of indicate 3 of them that are at least in my price range. They're not in my
Mm-hmm.
price range, but they're the lowest ones there.
The lowest
Cheapest
prices.
ones there.
Mm-hmm.
And they look pretty nice. So the next thing I know, I'm house hunting in France with Madame. Um,
Okay.
I'm a renter.
But
I was a renter for life.
was this like I mean, if I think of buying a house, like especially like abroad, it's like you need whatever established credit score or like some credit or like some employer or somebody who like vouches for you that you can like pay the rest of it if you don't pay everything
Right.
up front in cash.
Well,
So how was it?
this is 1991. It's small town.
It's different rules.
It's still the Wild West, sort of. Now it's a lot different.
Mm,
And of course,
okay.
my voucher is Madame.
Yeah, okay. Oh,
So,
okay. Well, you found a good friend there.
I mean, she's my get out of jail card. She's terrific. I can't
Okay.
I can't count the number of times she has saved me. Um, so we go when we look at these houses. The first one I like. It's kind of nice. What do I know? And she sort of indicates that it's not really good for me because there are a lot of stairs going up, and someday I'm going to
Uh,
be old, and she's not going to carry me. So that house was out. We looked at another one that had been unoccupied for a long time, had lots and lots of work. I don't know how to do anything. So that was
uh-huh.
out. And then we went to this
Okay.
third one, which was exactly the kind of house I've sort of been looking at all the time. It was an independent, standalone old stone house with
Mm-hmm.
land and hedges all around it on a river canal.
So
Um,
like you
and
imagine it,
yes,
like a
it's
French Brittany house
exactly.
that you always see like in the movies.
Exactly. That's exactly what it
Uh-huh.
was. And the next thing I know, she's knocking on the door. I mean, in the States, you got to make an appointment and, all the stuff.
Yeah.
She's knocking on the door, and the guy opens the door. He's not too happy to see us or anybody else. Um, but we go through this whole thing. And eventually, and this is the story of my first book, I'll Never Be French. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's about buying the house, and it's about going there and buying the house. So
Okay.
I buy the house. Catherine and I are already broken up at this point, and
Mm-hmm.
and the book is about the process of buying the house, which is totally different than it is today. I mean, no inspection.
Mm-hmm.
The bank is willing to give me a loan. I mean, they don't even know if I have a job. Um,
Yeah, okay.
you know, um,
Did you
thanks
have
thanks
like
to Madam P.
citizenship or anything?
Nothing. I had nothing.
Nothing. Okay, so you were just a tourist who went house shopping.
Yeah, but Madam
Yeah, okay.
P, was the door opener. So
Yeah.
after I made the offer on the house and we've gone through all this stuff, she takes me to the bank and we meet with the bank president. I've never met with a bank president in my life.
Uh-huh.
What do I know about bank presidents? And he's willing to give me the loan for a mortgage. He doesn't know if I
Oh,
have a job. He doesn't know if I'm sane.
yeah.
But she's there vouching for me.
Oh, crazy.
So I didn't do that. And part of the story in that first book is getting the money, which I borrowed from my mom, wiring it to France, going through the process with the notaire of buying the house where I can't read anything or understand anything. It's all in
Right.
French.
In
The people
French.
I'm buying the house from are explaining to me what everything is. Um,
Yeah.
so it was a very funny process. But anyhow,
And
that's how I got a house.
and then and then at that time, were you thinking of staying there, or did you just
No.
think of I'm buying it and then I rent it and then I come back in the summer, or do you have like
Um,
any
I,
plan?
no, I never thought of living there full time.
Mm,
Um,
uh-huh.
it's, I love my bifurcated sort of tri-continental life. I live in California, New York, and France.
Oh wow,
And,
okay.
and,
All the top places.
and well, I really like it.
Yeah.
And I really like the difference. I love being in the tiny village in France. It's about 500 people. It's
Uh-huh.
it's next to a village of 7,000 people, and I'm there 3 months a year, and
Okay.
it's perfect. It's just perfect. But I wouldn't want to be there in winter when the days are short and cold
Mhm.
and wet. I mean, even the people who live there don't want to be there in winter.
Right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I want theater and I want museums. I want lots of ethnic food, which does not exist in a small village in France.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so I want all those things, and of course, when I bought the house, I was teaching full time, so I needed to be at my job, 9 months a year.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, there's always the option of like quitting the job and whatever, find a new job somewhere else.
well, I could, but not in France, unless I guess I was teaching English,
Right. Mhm.
because my French is horrible. It's terrible. I
Yeah.
mean, I couldn't get by doing anything in French except teaching English.
Uh-huh. And then so you had the house, and then what was then the process? Did you just go back every year, or
Yeah, every year for 33 years.
oh wow, okay. And did you always just do like France for 3 months, or did you
For
ever
most
stay
of the
longer?
time, it was just France and Brittany,
Uh-huh.
partially because it was so new and different and exciting and beautiful, partially because I had no money to really go anywhere else. Um,
Okay.
and I was on a restricted calendar because of work. Um,
Right.
but once I retired, we started going elsewhere. So we, been to Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Poland, Spain, Italy, um, and all around France.
Okay, and then but your most recent book is I Am Finally French. So then
Yes.
what changed?
Um, well, that's an interesting question. Okay, so for most of the time that I've been there, I felt comfortable, but as an outsider.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, uh, a lot of it is language. I really don't have, French language skills, and many cultural differences. I mean, um, the differences in the way people respond to time, for instance. You know, I
It's
mean,
not on
I'm
time.
American. Sorry,
It's not on time.
nothing is on time. You
Yeah.
know, for an American, it drives you a little crazy. Uh, and having to wait so long for anything to happen. Um,
Okay.
Also, it drives me a little nuts. And not being able to do anything without help. I mean, in the States, I'm sort of a type A kind of guy. I mean, I can get things done. I know how to do things, and if nothing else, I know who to call to get something done.
Okay, yeah.
Um, but in France, I can't do very much without asking for help, and so I become dependent and
I
um,
see.
have to wait for it's very difficult for um, an American male, type A kind of American male, to have to ask for help and wait and be dependent and
Okay.
it's hard.
And do you mostly mean this because of the language barrier
It's both
or
language
just
and
different
cultural.
system? Hmm?
It's both language and cultural. Language
Okay.
because I often don't know what to say, even if I knew who to contact. I would need help. Remember, this begins in '91. The internet is like
Yeah, well,
brand new. There is none of this Google
no.
Translate.
Oh, there's
Um,
also probably no internet in a small town in France.
no, well, France had something called the Minitel, which was an internal system just to France, but it was computerized and it was through the telephone system. So they had a
Mhm.
really good internal system, but
Uh-huh.
because it was so good internally, they didn't
Uh,
connect externally. So
I
they were
see.
late
Okay.
on the internet.
I see.
Um, but when I bought the house in '92, I got Wi Fi immediately.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, in '92, I had Wi Fi. No, I'm sorry, that's not correct. I'm sorry. I forgot. There's a whole chapter in my new book about getting wired. Um, didn't
Okay.
have I didn't have it immediately, and I didn't want it immediately because for the first 10 years, maybe it was like, why do I want to live my American life in France? Why
I
do
see.
why do I want to be watching giant scores and shopping on eBay and responding to email and you know
Uh-huh.
I do that in California. I don't need to do that in France. But then my wife said, in between, I got married, and my
Okay.
wife said she's independently employed. I can't go there for 6 weeks without being connected. So
Right.
somewhere in
Okay.
the early mid 2000s, I did get connected. I don't know when it came to France, but I mean to the village, but
Mhm.
I sought it out in the early 2000s. Um,
Okay.
and at that point, it was pretty easy. And I recently was just hooked up to fiber optics,
Okay.
5G, 5G.
Uh-huh. And can I ask you how small town life was as an outsider? Because like you
Um,
only were there like for a short time in the year. Did they know who you are or
Everybody
did you
knew who I was.
connect? Did you connect to them?
Yes. First, I was the only American in town.
Uh-huh.
There were English people, but I'm the only American I know of anywhere around. So that made me sort of a curiosity. Um,
Okay.
I was also a writer. They knew I was a writer. I was working at when I bought the house in '92. I was working on a short story collection, and
Mm-hmm.
that was published in '97, '98, somewhere in there. So
Okay.
people knew I was a writer. The other thing was I was single, and
Oh, at that time. Uh-huh.
single at that point. I was about 50. Um,
Okay.
so, single middle-aged man, you were either a widower or crazy. You know,
Yeah, right. So
you know,
everyone was curious about you,
right?
yeah.
And the Breton people have a natural curiosity, anyhow. Um,
Okay.
and again, remember, I had Madame.
Okay, so she was always kind of your buddy coming
Yeah,
along,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
mhm.
She was my entree to a lot of things, and through her, I met different people,
Mhm.
um, and um, and I had neighbors. Became very close with one set of neighbors, um, and then as time goes on, things become multi generational. So I know 3 and 4 generations of people in the same family now.
Mhm.
When I first moved in, on one side of me, an older woman was living there. She in her 90s, and I subsequently met her children, her grandchildren, and now her great grandchildren.
Okay. Nice.
So that kind of stuff. And in fact, I'm now the old guy on the block.
Right.
I've been there longer than anybody.
Yeah.
So, and for me, um, it's the longest single address I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
So I've had this address for 33 years,
Oh,
nowhere else.
nice. Do
So
you still go back?
oh yeah,
Yeah?
oh yeah, we just got back a month ago from
Uh-huh.
3 months. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
no,
And
no.
like how has it changed over the time?
Um, well, the village has changed. Um, I mean, when I first got there, again, 91, 92, there were 4 hotels, 4 restaurants in each. I mean, a restaurant in each hotel. They're all
Uh-huh.
gone.
Oh,
There
okay.
were 4 boulangeries. There's only two
Mhm.
now. Um, so it's sort of in some ways it's shrinking. There are a few
Mhm.
less people. Um,
Mhm.
on the other hand, there's a new Olympic-sized swimming pool. There's a 5G tower. There's a
Mm.
movie theater. There's a home for old folks. There's
Okay.
a new medical clinic. The salmon are gone. The sheep are gone. Um, let's see.
It's
Uh,
just modernized a lot.
Not compared to the states, but compared to what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it has. And in a small town, those kinds of changes are very visible.
Yes.
So, like when I first moved in, the house across the house, the area across the street from my house was a park where
Mhm.
there were lots of trees, and people would come and camp there, usually for a night or two. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, people who were fishing in the river, because at the time there were a lot of fish in the river. Mostly it's fished out at this point. Um, and one guy who came at the beginning of the summer and left at the end with his campers and just based himself there. So that was like the first 15 years or so. And then because of village cost cutting, they cut all the trees because they didn't want to have to maintain them.
Mhm.
So, and then they closed the park because there
Oh.
were no trees and they didn't want to make it a park. But it was this sort of open green space that wasn't really kept. And then they turned it
Mhm.
into a little, I don't know what to call it. It's a park, and it's like a petting zoo. Now it's a place where sheep hang out. Um, so it's sort of back to where it was originally, except people don't camp there, but they come all the time to see the sheep.
Okay. Yeah. And but did you ever think of selling the place or selling the house and
Um,
I don't know, not going back?
no, I didn't go back 1 year when my wife's work was awful and she was getting sick over it.
Mm-hmm.
And um, I had to sort of make a decision as am I going to go or not go? And decided not to go and stay and sort of be around for her that as she went through whatever she was going through. Um, and then COVID. Um,
Sure.
I didn't go for 2 years. Those are the only 3 years I've missed.
Sure.
Um,
Uh-huh.
and now at this point, and it's one of the things that's in the new book, um, is what am I going to do with the house? Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I've had it 33, 35 years. Um, I have looked into donating it to an arts organization so that they could use it as a writer's house, a writer's
Mm-hmm.
retreat, or use it for something in the arts, a residence for artists who are performing at the art center. But they didn't want it; it was too much responsibility. They've got enough stuff going on, and they didn't want to take it on. And I tried several American art colonies. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and to see if they wanted to have a French extension and use it that way. They didn't want to take it on. They didn't want the responsibility of something so far away. Um, I do have to think about what's going to happen. I mean, the miracle of all this is I've managed to make everything work. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because of people I know, connections I have, relationships that have developed over the years,
Yeah.
um, and I've been doing it for 35 years. My wife, Donna, can also make things work, and she can speak French uh, much better than I do. She knows all the people. Whether or not she wants to go there on her own, if I die first, is something else. And then beyond her, we have no kids. Beyond her,
Mm-hmm.
um, nephews and niece, they don't really want it, and they would never be able to manage it. You have to everything in France is personal. There is nothing that's not a personal relationship,
Mm-hmm. I
and
see.
they don't have any of them. Donna has them all. I have them all. Um, there's nothing happens quickly. Nothing happens impersonally. Um, everything is around relationships, and the relationships I have allow me to do all the things that on the surface would be impossible for me to do.
Mm-hmm. Do you have, like, when you are in America, do you have somebody who checks on the house? Or
Oh
like,
yeah.
how do you maintain it?
Oh yes, all the house flooded once, for instance,
Yeah.
the river and the canal overflowed. Immediately, three sets of people went to the house and moved furniture um, to get it off of the ground floor so it wouldn't be ruined. Other people went in and cleaned. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Oh, wow, nice.
recently there was a huge storm last year. In fact, there was a
Yeah.
huge storm, and there was some damage to the house. Other people came in and made sure the windows were sealed, that nothing, would come through. Helped me with
Nice.
all the
Uh-huh.
insurance claims. Uh,
Sure.
yeah, people
It was
are
at the time when you were not there.
right.
Yeah.
Right. People are very, very responsive, responsible, and there are people who are friends who do it, and there are people I pay to watch the house.
I see. Okay. So it's both.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like a small cottage industry. There are
I
people
got
to
it.
mow the lawn. There are people to cut the hedges. There are people to do the painting. There are people to do repairs. There's the plumber. There's the electrician. There's the furnace
Uh,
guy. All
and
individual people.
and then you have somebody with the keys and they let the people in.
I think everybody in town has the keys.
Okay.
I
So
think
you're
I
well
don't. I try not to
established.
think about this too much, but I think the house has been a lover's nest more than once.
Okay, so everybody knows the house.
Everybody
Everybody
knows the house.
everybody is
Yeah,
welcome and
there are
everything.
there are lots of sets of keys around.
Okay. So, and you said earlier that your wife speaks better French than you. So, like, what was your language process?
My language process, well, she studied French, and she's very good with languages.
Okay. Uh-huh.
I mean, she's Japanese. She studied Japanese, Russian, French, um, probably some others also. I studied Spanish, and that was a long, long time ago.
Oh,
And
so it's similar a little bit.
it usually doesn't help me.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, one huge mistake I made was I was shopping and I was holding something. I was holding a box that I wasn't supposed to have, and I wanted to tell the person I was going to put it back. I didn't know the word for return in French, so and I know in Spanish it's volver, so I figured it must be close to that. So I said j'ai volé, which in French is I stole it.
Oh no. Well, that's opposite.
Yeah, so that's what happens when I mix my languages.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
So, at this point, I can talk with anybody who wants to talk with me, but they have to speak very slowly,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to want to talk to me. And then, I mean, I can do a 5 hour French meal if people
Okay, cool.
want to talk with me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I have zero pronunciation. I don't conjugate. So everything is first person present tense.
I see. Uh-huh. So it's like my
Um,
Spanish. Yeah. That's all I can. Yeah.
So, but I can get by. I know a lot of words, especially repair words for a house, and
Uh-huh, of course.
yeah. So, I can talk to shopkeepers because they all want to make a sale, and
Yeah.
I can talk to my friends because they're
Uh-huh.
patient. Um,
And every year when you go back, like how long does it take you to get used to it again? Because like I know like in the beginning it's always a little bit rusty
exactly.
and then takes a little bit.
It's a little bit of one step forward, two step back, two steps
Yeah.
back, one step forward. Yeah, so there is always a catching up. Yes, absolutely. I don't know, maybe a week or two
Okay.
to get back to where I was, and then slowly move forward. But then by the end, when I leave for 9 months, I lose it and start again.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I wanna talk a little bit more about your book.
Yeah.
I'm finally French. So yeah, so tell me a little bit about it.
Um, well, you asked me before about how did you finally become French. Um,
Yeah.
so it's for me, it's a process of belonging. So the first 15 years, I was comfortable, but I certainly didn't feel like I belonged. I mean, I knew I was in
Mhm.
another place. It's like when you have a good vacation.
Mhm.
Someplace new. You like it. You're comfortable, but you know you're not there. I mean, that's not your
Mhm.
home. That's not where you're from. Um, Sometime after COVID, I don't. There's no trigger point, but sometime after COVID, or maybe during COVID, I started to feel much more like, I really do belong. I mean, I feel like I belong. Like I know people, people know
Mhm.
me. Um, we have, the daily friendly, how are you conversations. We share information about family. Um,
Mhm.
as I said, I've been there in this part of the village longer than anyone else.
Uh-huh.
Um, I have the oldest house in that part of the village. It's the
Okay.
longest address for me ever.
Yeah.
Um, so, I just have this feeling that this is a place that I really do belong. I feel welcomed. I feel accepted, and there's a large part of that in the book. Even the kinds of problems. There's lots of problem solving in all my books because there's
Mhm.
tons of problems, and I don't know how to resolve them. But even in the problem solving in this book, it's much less frantic than in the other books. It's like
Mhm.
I know it's gonna turn out okay. I know it's gonna be okay. I know I'm gonna get help. I know this is gonna it's going to work, where I didn't know that before. And that's also part of the belonging and acceptance. Uh, Another part of it is my family is European.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was born in Hungary. His grandparents were not his grandparents. My grandparents were Hungarian. Um, I visited the house he was born in Budapest. Um, After the First World War, my grandfather fought on the side of Germany and the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And after the First World War, there was a left-wing revolution in Hungary, as there was in most of Europe. And it lasted about a week. And at that point, um, about 1921, I think, my grandparents, with my father, he was the only child at the time, left Hungary and went to France.
Mm-hmm.
And they moved to Strasbourg, where my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother had a sister who was married to a French man who fought on the French side of the
Okay.
war in World War One. So they lived in Strasbourg. French was my father's first official language. He went to
Okay.
school. He went to school in France, um, and he didn't come to the States until he was 9. Um,
Okay.
and then my grandparents came, and everything about them was European. The food,
Mm-hmm.
the music, the literature, the furniture. So I didn't know it at the time, but I grew up in a very European world.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back to France was it was a pretty easy fit in a lot of ways,
Mm-hmm.
especially the cultural ways of um, saying hello, saying goodbye, saying please, saying thank you,
Mm-hmm.
being very conscious of politeness and
Yeah.
and and um, and also um, uh, uh, people, being very conscious of people. In the States, we tend to make people invisible. I mean, people we
Mm-hmm.
don't have a relationship with, we tend to make them invisible, or not quite dismiss them, but not really see them.
Yeah.
Um, in European culture, and especially in France and rural France, you see them. I mean, you say hello, you talk, you find out about them, and it's a personal relationship. And in the U.S., if I buy a stereo system, the guy from Best Guy's not coming by my house to see how I'm doing. But
No.
in France, my plumber comes by my house to see if the furnace is still okay,
Okay.
or, or,
Okay.
or, or he comes by for a cup of coffee. Um,
Uh-huh.
and it's that kind of thing. The guy that fixed my floors invites me to dinner to his house. Uh,
Yeah.
the guy that delivers my oil calls me up on a Saturday evening and says, "My daughter just got accepted at a university in California. Can we come over and talk to you?"
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Sure. I mean, that wouldn't happen in the States. So all of that is a sense of belonging for me,
Mm-hmm.
and makes a switch from just being comfortable but not fitting in to really feeling like, I do fit in. And then the final piece is, when I die, I'm going to be sprinkled there.
Okay.
And when I'm sprinkled there, I'm going to be part of the terroir, the land.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
that will make me really French. I will
Maybe.
be my own appellation.
Uh-huh. That's gonna be full circle back to your roots.
Exactly. And then I
Uh-huh.
will be finally, finally French. It's a paradox French people will really appreciate, because when I'm finally, finally gone, I'll finally, finally be there, finally French.
Okay.
Part of the
Is
soil.
yeah. Is your book also available in French?
This one isn't. My first one is. Um,
Okay.
I would love to have this one published in French. I am looking for a French publisher, but I don't have one yet.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't also not know how that works, but
Um, Well, the first book was picked up by a publisher in France, and they did the translation. And
mm-hmm.
I learned a whole lot about the differences in publishing in France and the States.
Probably. Probably.
Um,
Maybe the same guy can do that with your latest book too.
no, they shut down their whole book division.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
too bad.
yeah, it is
Okay,
too bad. Yeah.
yeah, but you said your book is available anywhere, so you can buy
Yes,
it just in all the bookstores,
yes.
online especially.
It's online. The first two books are ebooks, audiobooks, paperback, hardback, translated into. The first one is French. The first two are also Polish and Hungarian.
Oh wow.
Um, the third one is just coming out now, and it's only English.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all available everywhere.
Okay, I'll just make a link in the show notes of the podcast so people can just click on it, and then they will find you, or they
That
will
would be
find the book.
great. That
Yeah, of
would be
course,
great.
of
Thank you.
course. Um, and I want to ask about your wife. Did she ever say like, "Can we not go to France this summer?"
No, no, no. She really likes it. She's got her own set of friends, and
Uh-huh.
the real kicker is she says I'm much nicer in France.
Oh, is
So,
that so?
well, part of it is I don't have the language to be nasty.
No,
Um,
okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
but the other part of it is what she really means is I'm more like her when I'm in France, which means I'm more accepting, I'm more grateful, I'm more thankful, I'm less
Okay.
complaining. I don't want to hear you complain about that. Um,
Okay. Less grumpy old man, yeah.
that's right. That's right. Um, so she's quite happy to have me in France. So
Okay.
no, she likes going there very, very much. Has never been a question of not wanting to go.
Okay. And so where do you always stay in winter? Do you always stay in California for winter?
Except for a month in New York. Sometimes, usually in the fall or spring, we go to New York. It's where my family is. I grew up in New York. Um, so we go back for a month, and the rest of the time we stay in the West Coast,
Mhm.
mostly California, but also do a little traveling. Not much, but a little.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you always like pick the nicest seasons
We
to
try.
the for the places where you are at the moment.
We try. A tri-coastal life is very nice. I mean, I'm lucky I have family in New York, so I have a place to stay. I've got
Uh-huh.
a house in France, so I have a place to stay.
Yeah.
Luckily, I married a woman with a house, so I have a place to stay.
Okay. That's good. And but was there any time something, or is there anything in France that you don't get used to?
Um, yeah, we talked a little bit about time and
Mhm.
waiting and being dependent.
Right.
The bureaucracy, the French bureaucracy is. I mean, even
A
French people
nightmare.
can't stand it. It's complicated. It's needlessly complicated. Um,
Okay.
and if you don't speak the language, it's even worse. I mean,
It's even
imagine
harder,
me
yeah.
not speaking the language and getting on a touch tone phone and having to figure out push 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, that's
yeah.
horrible.
So the bureaucracy is really hard. Um, the other part I don't usually talk about, but you asked, so I will. Um, the racial stuff is hard. It's hard to watch. Donna is Japanese,
Mm,
and we're in rural France where
right.
there are not a lot of Asians. I
A
mean, there are more
Asians,
now.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, she's had no bad experiences in Brittany. I mean, when she
Mhm.
first came, people would walk up to her and touch her and say,
Oh, yeah.
what are you?
Uh-huh.
And she would say American, and they would say, no, 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 what are you? And they wouldn't stop until she said, I'm Japanese American,
Japanese. Mhm.
and then it was fine. And she was, she's in this world, she's very exotic, and people are very welcoming, and there's an amazing amount of Japanese culture that floats through France,
Oh,
largely
is there?
in the painting world. The
Ah,
Impressionists and the relationship between Japanese art and Impressionism. Um,
mhm.
So there's always impressionistic art and Japanese art exhibits going on. And you go to the strangest little place, the smallest little place, and there's always some kind of a Buddha figure there, which is
Mm-hmm.
bizarre, but everywhere. Um, so that's sort of the okay side of the racial stuff. The not okay side is, what we see at the airports and what we've seen on public transport. We were coming back once from Italy by train into Spain and into France from Italy,
France.
and at the border, the train was stopped, and the guard came on the border patrol people, and they made every male of color get off the train.
Oh, what?
Every male of color. Didn't
But
matter if they were French. Didn't matter. Nothing. They had visas, and the train left without them
and what was the reason behind it?
because they're cracking down on immigrants just like everybody else in Europe. Um,
Oh,
and
oh yeah.
France has a very
Well,
large immigrant population, and 10% of the population is Arab Muslim.
uh-huh.
Um,
And there you
and
say because especially in rural France, I mean, I guess it's as
it's not rural
everywhere
France.
else in
You
the
don't see it
world.
in rural France. Because there are very few. You see it in urban France.
Yeah, you
In
do, but
rural
like
France,
in rural, they're like more conservative thinking. I'm just thinking out loud. So, and this is probably also because like Marie Le Pen, she
her
was pretty
stronghold is in
strong
the south. Her
in the
stronghold is in the
South.
south. Yeah,
Ah, I did not know that. Okay.
yeah. I mean, where I am, it's socialist.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Brittany tends
Further
to be left
north,
wing.
yeah.
Um, at the airports, going through customs, people of color, Arab people, black people, African people,
Mm,
excuse me, are given much more look over than we are. I mean, they
okay.
spend a
Yeah.
lot of time. They're separated. Luggage has gone
Yeah.
through.
I mean, if you look at if they see you, you're just another white guy. You could be French if you don't say anything, right?
Right,
They don't see it.
right. I mean, it's really hard to watch. I mean, the
Mhm.
states have their their own problems, of course,
Mhm.
but you really get the sense that France has no idea what to do with that population, how to integrate them. I mean,
Mm.
these are French people.
Yeah.
Many of them have been there multi generation,
Mhm.
but you get the sense that they really don't know how to.
Integrate them.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
and it's hard to watch and it's painful.
Okay.
So, and then all the Le Pen stuff, of course,
Yeah.
is is awful, but it's everywhere. It's
Yeah, I know.
everywhere.
In Europe, it's everywhere too. Yeah, and I mean here, of course,
Right,
and yeah, but it is a huge problem at the moment.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Let's change subjects.
Sure.
Okay. Um. And when you are in France, is there something that you miss, or
Yeah.
was there anywhere, any time were you thinking we should stay longer?
Yes. In fact, this year I'm going to look into a longer visa, a 6 month visa.
Oh yeah.
Um, and part of that's because I'm retired now, so I don't have that teaching schedule, so I'm not
Mm-hmm.
limited to those 3 months. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's part. The other part is I want to still spend those 3 months in Brittany, and I want to travel more.
Mm-hmm.
So more time would allow us to travel more. So yeah, this year for the first time, actually, I'm looking into a longer visa.
Isn't there like a retirement visa? Is there one for
Um,
France?
um, not that I know of as a retirement visa. There is a 6 month to 1 year, and there's something
Tourist
called
visa?
a talent visa, which maybe I could get because of my books.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
And that's good for 4 years. But again, like everywhere else, they're making all these things a lot more difficult to get.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know how it'll be received.
Yeah, no, but I talked a few months ago to a retiree in Portugal.
Uh-huh.
She was also American, and she got a visa because she retired. So maybe Portugal has it. Maybe France has something similar.
Actually, France is the reverse. I, again, they're changing all their rules right now, and
Hmm.
I've been reading about English people who are trying to get resident retirees, English retirees who have been here a long time and are now trying to get citizenship, and it's being denied because the bulk of their income is not French.
Oh, oh, I thought because
Even
of
though
Brexit or
they have
something.
moved, they have English pensions
Uh
that are
huh.
sent to their French bank account.
Yeah, that
So
doesn't count.
it doesn't count. So, and this is a brand new rule that they're just putting in
Mm.
France.
Mhm. But is it because I don't know, there are too many French people? Is there not enough housing? Is they
Sure.
just want to have it for themselves? Oh, is there like a
Um,
reason behind it?
yeah, I mean, there's always that. There's never, well, it's not a question of not enough housing. There's not enough affordable housing.
Mm.
Um, and yes, that is a problem. And yes, you've got the nationalism issue again.
Mhm.
And you've got Brexit that people are not too happy about. So all of that's going on, but they're making everything much stricter. For instance, the language requirement now is much more difficult than it was 6 months ago to get into
Ah.
France. And proof of income. It used to be pretty much any income. Now it has to be French income for citizenship, not for residency.
Okay. Okay, so definitely more complicated.
Yeah,
Yeah. But if you just go there for 6 months, it would just be like a tourist visa?
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And for that, I think there's no language test.
Yeah, no.
Um,
It's
it would be relatively easy. I'd have to show proof of medical coverage and proof of income, but American income would count. Um, and,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and then I have a residence, which I do. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think that would be pretty easy to get. So
you
I think this
probably.
year I will get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and I asked you before, is when you're in France, is there something that you miss from America?
Yeah, Mexican food, uh,
Uh-huh.
um, good, good, really good Asian food, um,
Yeah.
because the at least where we are, the ethnic food is all Frenchified. The spices are a
Mm.
little different, and
Uh-huh.
uh, piquant is not very popular.
No, it's not. It's no spicy.
So so yeah, that's probably the thing. Everything else, I mean, everything else they have all the natural beauty, the parks, the flowers, the land. I have plenty of friends. We go to museums, we see art.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably the food. It's probably the biggest thing, which is odd
And
because people go to France for the food.
for the food, yeah. What about the other way around? Is there something that you miss from France when you're in America?
Oh yeah, a lot, probably a lot more.
Yeah.
And Donna, of course, misses me.
Oh, yeah.
um, so yeah, no, it's a much different life. It's a much I complain about time, but it's a much slower life. Um,
Mhm.
and when we're there in the summertime, the day is really long.
The
Like
longer, right?
yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
get up at seven
Uh-huh.
in the morning, and I have coffee, I read, I write. By 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, I'm done. I have another 11 hours of daylight.
Yeah.
To play, to go to the beach, to go to museums, to walk in the park, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's so I really miss that the slowness of time, of the passage of time,
Okay.
um, and the long days.
The long days.
Yeah.
I thought you're gonna say butter.
Butter. Yeah. In the Bay Area, you can pretty much
You
get
get you
anything.
get the butter. You get
Although Breton butter is really special. Yeah.
yeah,
It
I know,
is.
but you get it. I know. I had a French roommate in the Bay Area,
Mhm.
and he always bought beurre d'Isigny from it's from One Up, not Britannia. It's
Normandy.
from Normandy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It is very special, but you can
Uh-huh.
buy it in the Bay Area.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I guess we have it though. Thank you for being on my podcast.
Oh, you've been terrific. It's been a great pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much. I love to listen to your stories. And
Thanks.
I said it before, so you see the show notes in the podcast, and
Okay.
you will find a link to your books.
Okay.
All right, that was it from this week. So don't forget to check the show notes. All the information that you need, it's all there. And don't forget to subscribe and, of course, support the podcast in any form that you want to. All right. And then, of course, if you want to be a guest or if you want to leave a comment, you can reach out to me via email. It's worldscollide123pod@gmail.com, or you can find me on the socials, more Instagram, at worldscollidepod. It's one word. All right. And that was it from this week. I will see you. Bye.